ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Shelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Do you know why it's always great that the show is on a Thursday night?
Do tell.
It means that tomorrow is Friday, which means it's, for us 9 to 5 office drones, it's the last day of the work week.
Touche. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, oh my God.
Who are you?
I,
What
of
is your
course,
name?
am your
How do you spell
host,
it?
Charlie. Jeez almighty. And I'm
Can you
joined once
spell it?
again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
Greetings and salutations.
Although, I would say that if you are on our Discord, which, of course, if you're not, if you're watching this on Twitch, if you do, I think it's !Discord, I think. If not, I can always...
Does that show for everyone or just me?
Just you.
Oh, well, that's not very helpful.
Yes, it's not. But you can always join. But I think our Discord friend Donut was giving Zealeus a run for his money this week.
It's good to have somebody talk back to you instead of just speaking into the empty void.
You've talked to Donut a lot in person too, by the way. Just to give you a little hint.
Who's done it in person?
It's my cousin.
Oh, no shit. That's Donut.
Yep.
I would not have put the two and two together, but I can appreciate it.
All right. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Thursday Night Hangouts, a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. So at any point during the show, if you have any questions, topics, opinions, please drop it in the chat, being on Twitch, YouTube.
I have a question.
What?
What are you sorry for?
What am I apologizing? Sorry for what?
Your shirt. It looks like it says sorry.
Oh, it says, sorry, this beard is taken.
Nice. Okay. I feel satiated. I was going to go through the entire show being like, what does it say?
So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if any time you could drop it in the chat, be it on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. If we do run out of time, we'll add it to the very next show, which unfortunately will be in like 3 weeks.
Whoa.
Because next Thursday is 4th of July, I think, if I'm right. Is that right?
Oh, say, can you say? Yes, it is.
And then the next week, I will be on vacation. So
so you're taking your 4th of July week, the following week, basically?
Yes.
Nice. I can appreciate that.
Beach prices are a little lower.
I remember, growing up in Atlanta, I don't think it's the case anymore, but growing up when we were back in the day, all of the Christian private schools started a week after public schools.
Yep.
Which means we always went on vacation the week, like right before school started, because it was the cheap rates.
Yep.
The trick is now, and you've probably seen this with the kids entering those ages, all these schools now, like the week before school starts, all have like preschool stuff. Like, come get your books, come get your laptops, come
bring your supplies in.
Yeah, so it's like back in the day, it was like when it was literally show up the first day of school, and anything that happened that first day of school.
Yep.
Whereas now there's like a week before school starts of all that stuff.
Yes.
So is that the case at public schools too?
Yes.
Or is that just
we bring in, at least in the county I live in, they give you basically a link to a list of all the items that you need to help populate the classroom with. And so you come in a week early, meet the teacher, and bring in all the school supplies.
Nice.
Yes. Anyways, let us get into the show. Now, I'm trying to. I was actually having a hard time to decide where to start, but we're going to start with me.
Is it going to be more sad stories to make me cry after the show?
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, no.
Sorry, I've got I have something in my throat, and it's driving me nuts. Okay. All right, so let's start off with some happy news. Haha, happy. At least for Charlie. I don't know about Zealeus because Zealeus doesn't have Hulu, so right? You don't have Hulu, right?
I will when the football. Well, I haven't decided if I'm getting Hulu again or YouTube TV for the
well, well, I didn't. I think is it a Hulu exclusive or is it? Does YouTube TV get FX?
Ooh, I think so. Actually, yes. Yeah.
Or maybe it's strictly just Hulu this time and not on FX.
Well,
anyways,
YouTube TV gets all the cable stations. The question is whether or not it's going to have the archive for you to watch of those cable stations.
there you go. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super duper excited. July 15th is the second season of a highly anticipated series for me. And that, of course, is Hit Monkey. An entire show built around a monkey who is a hitman who also is partnered up with Sudeikis in like ghost form. It was very entertaining. And I can't wait for the second season.
You could 100% be making up this entire story, and I wouldn't know if you're telling a lie or not because I've not heard of any of the above.
You've never heard of Hit Monkey?
No.
Or Jason Sudeikis?
Nope.
You know Jason Sudeikis.
Like in real life?
No, on TV.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Through what medium?
Have you ever seen Ted Lasso?
No.
Have you ever seen a commercial for Ted Lasso?
I don't watch commercials. Sorry, I'm not very helpful. I've heard of Ted Lasso, at least. I'll give you that much.
All right, Jason Sudeikis. Let's see here. Have you ever seen the? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm having to IMDb this for Zealeus here.
I feel like I'm feeling at Geek Cred right now.
You. Oh God, I'm so embarrassed. Have you ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses?
Years ago, yes.
Okay, well he was in that. He was
Okay.
also in. Oh God, so many movies. He's also was like a mainstay on Saturday Night Live for like years. Have you ever seen the movie The Angry Birds?
No.
Okay, well, he was the main voice actor in that as well. Anyways, I am not going to go down this entire list because that's not what this show is about. It's not the show to educate Zealeus, though sometimes it does become that. Anyways,
the problem when it comes to voice actors, like I don't recognize voice actors either.
He's
like,
not he's more live action. He just does voice acting.
Fair enough.
I think he's done more voice acting as of late.
Anyways,
going back here, Hit Monkey once again, very excited. July 15th will be, yeah. Thanks for taking all the wind out of my sails, Zealeus, you turd.
This turd aims to please.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic, and this one was actually a highly discussed topic on our Discord channel. And that, of course, is that the major music labels are going after the AI music generators. So, Zealeus, give me some feelings on that.
I mean, my immediate feedback is basically like, and I know there's been lawsuits over this topic, but other music producers already use music as inspiration. Like, kind of the idea that there's no such thing as an original thought. It's like there's no such thing as an original chord. Like they've all been done, and you're going to draw inspirations from like the music you grew up to, and you can like see very categorically like the influences of certain artists. Like it's obvious, and I know it's a stretch. I totally realize this, but in a way, generative AI is the same way. It's taking that as a source and then producing music of it. I know there's obviously degrees of it as far as sampling, because there's been lawsuits over real artists, like real people, sampling other music, and how far of like a how many like I guess degrees of freedom from that original music is kind of always been a hot topic issue as far as music goes already. And other arts, I mean, hell, it's a thing in video games, like copywriting video games and stealing from that. But in a way, and I guess the way I look at it is, I mean, it's no surprise that the RIAA is suing over this. Up front, to me, it's 100% all, to me at least, maybe 99%. It's all of them not having the power to control where the purse strings come from and where the money is, because basically it allows anyone to produce music on the fly, literally. Doesn't mean it's right necessarily, because there is that line of, I'm literally taking a Taylor Swift song, changing 3 chords, and now making my own. Probably not cool. But at the same time, it's like, is there a happy median, I guess, between like real people making music and AI making music? I know myself, and I don't think I'm in the minority of this. I prefer to have real people making music. It's kind of like going to a convention and actually meeting the artist who drew that art. To me, there's definitely that personal connection in music, as far as like being able to see who the artist is, see him in real life. But obviously, and nothing wrong with it, a lot of people aren't that way. They just want to hear good tunes and don't care where it comes from.
Right.
And there's going to be a market for that, for better or for worse. Yeah, I would have, honestly, like, I know Metallica got a whole lot of flack over the whole Napster thing back in the 2000s because they were basically the poster boy for copyright.
Yep.
But in a way, I have more sympathy for an individual artist coming forth and being like, hey, they literally store our music, than the faceless, nameless RIAA who basically controls all the purse strings for all of music.
Right.
And the other reality is, like, AI is with us. Like, it's not going anywhere. So to me, it's also more about how can we work in collaboration with this new reality that is here with us to make sure people are fairly compensated, instead of just saying, boom, let's just put our head in the sand and act like it's never going to be created.
Right. Another AI topic that had nothing to do with music, but also came up this week, was that there was a Pokemon the card game art contest for like character design, and the award was revoked when it was discovered that it was AI samples that created the art.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I guess what defines AI samples? Because like any tool in Photoshop you use is based off of basically samples in the past to perfect those palettes.
I think they just said Pokemon like dragon, and then they added some of their own filters to it to make it look their own.
So like it was an existing art piece that they just basically put a filter over.
Yep.
Okay, that to me is pretty obvious, at least in that case.
But they put enough that it looked like original art.
It's so easy to do nowadays too, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is where we're at. That's where we're at.
I mean, so on the art front, on the music front, and of course, there's more voice actors coming out now, once again, talking about their voices being used without their permission because it's being AI generated dialogue, additional dialogue for games. I mean, there's a lot of these contracts are going to have to be like.
I think we've talked about this in the past a bit, but I do think voice acting in video games is going to be the first one cannibalized by AI.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like, I think like when it comes to artists, like, artwork and music, that's something people still want to see a face to.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know the faces or honestly care about the voice behind a video game.
I care, damn it.
I know you do, but you're in the minority. I hate to tell you. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's absolutely. I think AI is going to cannibalize voice acting because you don't even really need to have a contract with that actor to begin with. All you got to do is just do like samples of their existing work and just put it into an algorithm and say, okay, now spit out this dialogue, and let's change the octave slightly so it sounds like him, but it's really Jonathan Franklin Dover, who's the voice actor who you've never seen before. We will AI generate a picture, a headshot for him, so that now he is legit. And the sad thing is that I would not be surprised if that's not been done already.
And I'm one of those where when it comes to whether it's, well, I guess usually animated when it comes to voice actors.
Yeah.
Like you'll see a movie, it's like, and this has, all these famous people listed.
Mhm.
I'm not someone who can tell based on a voice who that famous person is, anyways.
No offense,
I-
Zealeus, but that's because you're tone deaf.
Yes, like I am. I just don't have the ear for that.
I know.
So they could be like all these famous people in a movie, and I'll just be like, is the movie any good outside of the voice actors being famous? Because that really doesn't influence me one way or another.
Yeah.
So
You're saying that you're not drawn in by the roster of actors or actresses in a movie.
In a
Animated movie, sorry.
What? Say
in
it one
an
more time.
animated movie.
Correct. An animated movie, no, I have no care whatsoever. Unless it said that it's made by Studio Ghibli, I just don't really care.
Oh man.
Exactly. Outside of that, I'm like,
Side note on Studio Ghibli, I actually I knew this for the longest time, but for some reason I kept like blanking on it. The movie Howl's Moving Castle is actually based on a book. And I actually read the book. It is the beginning and the end are the same. How they get there is totally different.
Speaking of books, I started reading. I don't know if you call it reading correctly. Berserk.
Yeah, it's a manga, so yeah, you're reading it.
Well, I mean, there's pictures too. So, like, is it still considered reading because there's pictures?
But you read picture books when you were a little kid. That was considered reading. So why the hell would reading manga not be reading?
I don't know. Maybe there was a technical term for it. I haven't really read manga.
No, it's just reading.
But I didn't realize, like, I never done Comixology, and like each one's $5. I'm like, okay, I'll try this out.
I used to have Comixology for the longest time and went through basically all the free stuff so fast.
Well, then I'm paying, I guess, embedded with it. Now it's Amazon.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yep. But anyways, so AI created stuff is here to stay. It's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. I can't. And I would love to say it's going to get worse before it gets better, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if is a better. I think it's just going to get more murky.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's an interesting thought. What would be, okay, so let's go back in time. We mentioned Napster, or I mentioned Napster earlier, right?
Yep.
To me, so you got to the kind of early 2000s when everything kind of started to have that online presence.
Yep.
And it's kind of, it's like, okay, what is a better way of, at the time, of consuming media? And to me, and still, this has not changed, it's a easy platform in which to consume media, which at the time, to me, is why Netflix did so well. Is it was easier than consuming, going to the Pirate Bay and sailing the high seas, was to just get a Netflix account and watch it that way.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think that's what helped the online streaming become successful, is it became easy. Who knows whether it'll continue that way? But in kind of the analogy now, 20 years later for AI, what is the better for AI? Like, kind of like you were saying, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Like, I guess in a way, the pirating experience was the worst of getting content.
Right.
It was not a fun experience.
Right.
And the better was the online content we have now.
Yep.
Some may argue it's getting worse now, but whatever. But for AI, what is the better? Because it's all driven by money.
Right.
And if you're a giant corporate overlord, what costs less money? AI or people?
People. Or no, what costs more or less?
What costs less? What is a cheaper cost so you're going to favor?
AI.
Correct. It's only going to get cheaper over time too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to become more efficient, better, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to have higher demands. It's not going to demand contract negotiations, et cetera, et cetera.
It doesn't need PTO.
So, I mean, I guess that maybe I think that's when I look at the RAAA lawsuit, is to me, that's also what comes to mind is, okay, you're suing over it, and I get it. Like, it makes sense. But like ultimately, what is the outcome that is better for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the real question with AI is how can this actually create a better society? I don't know the answer to that.
We're all looking at Skynet, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it boils down to.
There's a kill switch installed, right?
There was supposed to be, but due to budget cuts, that department actually closed before the kill switch was installed. It was part of the Microsoft and Activision Blizzard merger.
That reminds me, actually, a movie I just saw was Mortal Engines.
Yep, just watched that myself. Was
Was
really
actually-
depressed. Was really depressed after having read all the books, and then watched that movie.
Okay, I have not read any of the books, but I thought the movie was entertaining.
Yes, the movie was very entertaining. However, I felt like the librarian on London was more of the main character than the girl with the scar.
You're talking about in the movies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the movies, she was not in the singular movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming in the books, she's supposed
the
to be like
main
the heroine.
focus.
What?
She's the main focus.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's supposed to be like the main heroine in the books.
Yeah.
And in the movie, she wasn't really. I mean, she was a heroine, but she wasn't really like the heroine or anything.
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
They,
I definitely got that in the movies.
yeah,
where
I was so depressed over that, and also they I think it was a trilogy, and they slammed it all into one.
When I was when I looked at the synopsis of book one, it sounded like the ending of the movie was basically the ending of book one.
No.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's
Okay.
the ending of the series. Was
Oh,
the
I
ending
didn't
of
know
the
that.
movie.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Her going after Valentine takes a long time.
Well, that was interesting. So, like, all of a sudden, I look at, I'm like, wait, there's 30 minutes left, and they're going for Valentine.
Yep.
I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this really the end of book one?
No.
Because this is going the end of like book 2 or 3, not book 1. Okay, that makes a lot more sense in the context of the books. But it's funny because you're saying kill switch, and at least in the movie she had the kill switch. So I'm like, so all they had to do in the movie was basically destroy that USB drive entry, or whatever the hell it was.
Yep.
And boom, the kill switch doesn't work. That seems pretty easy.
There's 4 books, by the way.
That's what I thought. I remember looking online. Are the books worth reading?
Yes. Oh, I loved them. I flew through them.
Good to know. Good to know.
They grabbed me. Yes, there was a couple parts in there where I think I was just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. But, that's, to me, unfortunately, in my crotchety old age, that happens a lot more often than not these days.
I get that more in TV shows nowadays.
Oh, dude, I tried to start watching an anime called The Rise of the Shield Hero, and I wanted to strangle almost the entire cast of the first 2 episodes. I was like, you sons of bitches.
That's my problem. I'm watching season 18 of Grey's Anatomy. But in every single season, there's always that like one storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not alone in this. Yep. There's always that storyline. You're like, oh, just for fuck's sake, you're back on TV. We get back to like Meredith Grey is actually an interesting character in the show.
Yeah.
Like, we just get back to her already because I don't care about this other stuff.
Come on, we need the filler, the fluff. We got to make 30 million seasons.
I think they're actually in season 20.
I know. Anyways,
yes.
So, talking about oh my gosh. I totally blanked out on where my transition was, so we're just going to abruptly transition here. So there is a Pokemon competitor named TemTem, which I have never heard of. But anyways, the company behind it is decided to make a new game. They are creating a game called TemTem Swarm, which unfortunately, it's a vampire survivor style rogue like game. It pits you against hordes of enemies, tasking you with lasting as long as you can amid its top-down, bullet-heavy gameplay. The problem is that there is a game out there by a very itty-bitty, tiny, wee little company called Riot, called League of Legends Swarm. Not to be confused with the game I just said, TemTem Swarm, but League of Legends Swarm, which is basically the same type of game. And apparently they're like, oh, we had no idea. So here's a fun fact. I know that at this point we're trying to pump out video games as fast as freaking possible. Damn the consequences. Damn the bugs. Hopefully it'll work out in the end. But you should at least, if you're making, I'm not going to use, okay, fine, just a roguelike top-down bullet hell game. I would look at all of the competitors and at bare minimum, check the names to make sure that you have a unique name that stands out from the rest.
And how much like the Riot game is it?
That's
how they get stuff. Like, did they, copy it in that way also, and far as the gameplay goes?
Okay, so the League of Legends Swarm game is a top-down bullet heaven vampire survivors style roguelike that pits members of the League of Legends heroic anima squad against hordes of enemies.
That description sounds vaguely familiar.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah. Wait, I bet they used AI to create their title.
They're probably like, well, let's see here. Lots of enemies coming. Horde, just, people could say horde, could pronounce horde wrong, and we don't need that. So
oh dear.
It's a swarm. It's a swarm of enemies. Yes. Let's name it Swarm.
Oh jeez.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do your homework, guys. I mean, at least try to be somewhat creative. My favorite analogy, I don't know if it was actually a joke or if it was a real game, but there was a game that was talked about in mobile game circles called, what is it? Disgruntled Pigeons, which was literally Angry Birds, but with pigeons.
Oh, yeah.
Disgruntled
What
Pigeons.
if we created a game called Last Fantasy? And instead of using Roman numerals.
No, not Last Fantasy. It'd be like Last Dream.
But then instead of using Roman numerals, we use
Wingdings.
Ooh, I like it. And yeah, we wrote out the number.
Here it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing, never Final Fantasy? What? I've never heard of that in my life.
No.
What?
The Last Dream.
And our company is going to be Circle. Kind.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally original IP.
Yes, and we're also making an MMO. Or just check out this new MMO. It's called Universe of Battle Making.
Instead of having materia, we're gonna have what do we have instead of materia?
Elemental crystals.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're onto something.
Totally different.
I'm gonna start typing this on the Chat GPT after the podcast to create a game for us.
Sweet.
Totally unique.
Here comes the money.
Or we just call it, Crystals of Prime.
I actually was cleaning out my my basement closet and found all the Crystal of Prime folders and notebooks.
Nice.
Indeed.
I still have mine over in my bookshelf in the other room in the old wooden binder.
Nice. Nice. Oh, the memories.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of memories, have you heard that Ubisoft apparently is decided that they are going to just go through their entire, or not their entire, but vast majority of their Assassin's Creed library and just pump out remakes?
Like, you mean by remake, you mean basically a facelift to the graphics?
Yes.
So the funny thing is, I don't play Assassin's Creed games because I find them, from what I've
Because
played,
they have story and they're in an open world. Those are two strikes against you when it comes to Zealeus.
well, open world, and they're, to me, they got incredibly monotonous with like the combat / stealth.
Yes, that's true.
But whenever I read like post about it, people always comment how they actually prefer the original ones because there's actually the stealth part of the game in it.
Yeah.
Versus now they've basically become action combat games.
It could become more God of War like.
Yeah. So like from that perspective, especially the earlier ones, if it actually like if they keep the stealthy parts in it and they don't actually do like, a full remake or reboot of it,
Right.
then I could actually see that with, nice crap. But it is always interesting to me of like, where is that fine line of remakes versus it's fine? Like, because I also play a lot of online games and MMO type of games.
Yeah.
And a lot of those still have like graphics out of like the 2010s, which frankly are comparable with the early Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah.
So even when I look at an early Assassin's Creed, I'm like, still looks perfectly good to me. And yes, if I play something new and shiny like a Destiny 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn or Hogwarts Legacy, I'm like, oh, this is shiny and looks awesome.
Yep.
That's great. But like, I think once we kind of got past like the PS2 era of graphics, which was clearly still, that 3D, but not.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a great term for it. Like, there comes a point where I'm like,
Yeah. Part of me, yes, it's they're playing into the nostalgia thing, obviously, and the CEO is like, it's just there's so much potential still left in them that these new gamers or previous gamers could really easily slip back into these worlds, and to me, it kind of goes two ways for me. One, I'm a sucker for if the game in the past had a big enough impact on me, I probably will come back and play it. Case in point, when Dot Hack came out for the PC, Dot Hack GU came out for the PC, I jumped on it. The game has a big enough impact, and I don't even have to wait years to play it. But like Bastion and Transistor, anything from Supergiant Games, I've got on multiple platforms. But I also kind of want with Assassin's Creed. I kind of got bored with Assassin's Creed because I was just kind of like, okay, it's the same thing. I did like on the earlier Assassin's Creed, it was more about like the historical stories, and now like Zealeus was saying, it's more like more action, fighting type stuff. Like I liked learning about the Italian city and the not the whatever the equivalent of the mafia was back then. That was cool to me. But now it's just kind of like rinse and repeat, and I just got out of it. I think I have at least one Assassin's Creed, maybe two, that are still in the wrapper. Yes, I once upon a time bought these things called hard copies of games. But I mean, good for them, but at the same time, I
actually have, let's see, I have Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which from what I've heard is actually a great game.
I think I had Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I think that's still in the wrapper for the Xbox One.
Let's see here. I played 2.4 hours of Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
There you go.
Clearly, I made it very far.
Absolutely, yeah. Just flew through the entire game.
What also kind of turns me off to, I think the part where it turns me off to open world games it's within like an hour or two, it's already like, oh, go collect 10 of these random history documents.
Yeah.
And it becomes very obvious very quickly that a large part of the game is like the tedium of going to like pointless locations to find random objects because they all do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it's so quick in the game, that's when I'm like, okay, this is going to annoy me.
No, I can understand that. I can understand that. I currently just picked up a new open world game to replace, I guess, Ueden Chronicles.
Ooh, what game?
It is called Sandland, which I'm gonna be honest with you, the graphic style for the text for the title is just absolutely horrendous looking. But the game it's based off of an anime that's on Hulu.
You said Sandland?
Yep, Sandland.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Cool.
Yep, I've already put like 10 hours into it.
Nice.
It's an open world thing. You're a demon with paired up with a sheriff in like a desert world, and you're trying to find water. It's in the style of God rest his soul, the gentleman behind all the Dragon Quests and the Dragon Ball Z's. So it's got that kind of like shaded styling.
Yeah.
And I probably I keep my one problem with open world games is if you put an indicator on the map of something like, oh, there's the main quest thing, and then you put like a little dot to the side, I'm the sucker who goes, oh, look, shiny thing. Well, I know where the main quest thing is, but what is that over there? And so I don't know how far I've actually advanced the story, but it is kind of interesting that Sandland has a mechanic that's kind of paralleled with Ueden Chronicles, and that's that you're trying to breathe life back into this town by you get these side quests, and when you complete the side quest, sometimes the individual who you're helping out is like, well, I don't have a place to call my own. You're like, hey, there's this brand new city over here if you want to go check it out. Oh yeah, I'll go check it out. And so it rebuilds the city. So
yeah, I started playing, I don't know why. It was in my backlog.
Mm-hmm.
I played like 2 hours when it came out, and then I picked it up again as Undecember, which is it's a hack and slash RPG.
Uh-huh.
It's okay. There's nothing great about it. It's free to play. I'm just playing it because why not? Actually, I'm playing it because Final Fantasy 14 expansion came out, so I can't play Final Fantasy 14 until tomorrow.
I see.
So yes, they're having their extended maintenance for the Dawn Trail release.
Woo!
In the meantime, I'm like, well, I guess I'll pick up a different RPG because I'm bored of Diablo 4 again.
There you go. So we were just talking about Assassin's Creed doing remakes. So in your opinion, Zealeus, if let's say there's a remake that comes out of a game that either you always wanted to play but never got a chance, or maybe you played it and it was so, earth-shattering, amazing that you're willing to come back. What is the price tag that you'd be willing to pay?
I'd say for a remake for a AAA title,
yeah,
$30 to $40 honestly seems like the right price.
Yeah.
I don't think that's unreasonable. We start, charging $60 for a remake of a game that's already been made. I'm like, I think I'll wait. But 30 to 40, if it's an actual good remake, of an existing game, I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, I totally agree. I don't think I too would shy away from the $60 game price tag. If they're going to put $60 on as the price tag, I am going to wait for a sale.
Yeah.
And, if it's 60, oh, Charlie, your brain cannot take this. I was trying to think of what's 25% of 60, but I'm blanking all of a sudden. So
5%, 15.
30, 15, so 45.
Yeah.
Oh, there, Charlie's brain still does work. All right, if it's at 45, then if it really meant something to me or I was dying to play it, then yes.
Well, I see, like right now, there's the Steam summer sale. So games like Elden Ring.
Okay, so Zealeus, we're not going to talk about that because Charlie's wallet cannot take another hit right now.
Other game, like a bunch of those games.
Baldur's Gate 3 is on sale too. I know.
Yep.
I got the email. I got the
Yes.
email that said Baldur's Gate 3 and 4 other titles on your wish list are now on sale. I'm like, you son of a bitch. No.
Yeah, there's one other one I saw that, who was it? That was actually, I've heard is really good that I was really interested in.
Yeah. So, anyways. But yeah,
Armored Core.
I agree. I'm not paying the full $60. I know, yes, but we had to spend so much money to upgrade everything, and it's still a remake. And I understand you still got to, pay your investors and whatever, but I personally will not buy it at the full brand new game price tag. How about that?
And we all have such a deep backlog on Steam already, anyways.
Oh dear God! I don't even talk about how many games I've got that I've bought but I've never played.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to pause for just a second to thank the amazing individuals that help Alter Confusion be the best Alter Confusion that you love and adore, and that, of course, is the friends of the show. So without further ado, let us start it off with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as traveling booths to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next one, of course, is to the AV master himself. That, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. The next one is important to anybody in the Atlanta area that has some aches and pains in their body thanks to long nights of gaming or perhaps just life. And that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to do is to the music maestro himself, and that, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And the final shout out we got to give is to the original backer of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com and also check out his book. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you are dying to know, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, it's quite simple, my friends. Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, swamp creatures, werewolves, vampires, mummies, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers. We've got the $1 a month, that's $1 a month or $12 a year tier. What they get you is early access to any of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. If you're feeling a little frisky, and why wouldn't you? You could go to the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year tier. And what that will get you is everything at the $1 tier, but also your name or organization is added to our Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Altered Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. The next thing we got to say is, ladies and gentlemen, Altered Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 13 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion. Now I know that everyone is just dying to know, how do I get an Altered Confusion hat or sticker or dog food bowl, or animal food bowl, or a coffee cup, or a red journal, or flip-flops? Altered Confusion flip-flops. All you got to do is go to alteredconfusion.tv/merch, and you can check out all that stuff. I'm actually getting the dog bowl and the coffee cup. It should be here early next week. Zealeus, I think you're muted.
Damn it. I coughed and I forgot to unmute myself.
Ha ha ha. Anyways. So check out all the cool Altered Confusion merch. And of course, I will take a picture of the coffee cup and the food bowl when it arrives. My dog has been in desperate need of a new food bowl, so it was just an excuse.
So are you going to be a normal person and start drinking coffee out of your coffee cup?
No, I'll be drinking hot chocolate out of my coffee cup when the weather turns cold.
I mean, you could have your AC on so it's cold inside.
Oh, my AC is blaring, and this bullshit of these like experts going, if it's 100 degrees outside, you should set your house to 80 degrees. I'm like, no, I still sweat my ass off at 80 degrees. No, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, nope, I agree. Yeah, there's only so much. I get it. It's supposed to be like the 20-degree difference between external and internal temperature, but I also like to be able to live.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the next story we have is apparently Microsoft and Amazon have signed a deal to allow for Xbox games to be playable via your Amazon Fire TV stick.
Are they streamed to your Fire Stick, or are they actually played locally on the Fire Stick?
Okay, so basically what's going to happen is users can download the Xbox app onto their Fire TV device, log into their Microsoft account, and start playing right away.
Okay.
From my understanding, it is cloud-based.
That would be my assumption, yeah.
Yes. You'll in the article it says you'll need, in order to take full advantage of this, a decent internet connection.
I would assume so.
Yes.
So what we kind of thought, honestly, I remember way back many years ago, that was speculation behind the Xbox. I never remember what the hell they called the consoles nowadays. That basically, that was the rumors that Xbox was going to leverage that heavily.
Yes. Now, of course, I know that there's people out there going, but with my Fire Stick remote, that's not going to allow me to play Xbox games well because the lack of buttons. Have no fear. If you have a compatible Bluetooth controller like an Xbox wireless controller or an Xbox adaptive controller or a PlayStation DualSense or a DualShock 4 controller, you'll be able to set it up and play through the Fire Stick.
I mean, I think the writing's been on the wall for a while now of Microsoft wants to not just have their gaming platform, particularly Game Pass, on only the Xbox console. I mean, you already see it on Windows. And I mean, there's been the rumors of them talking to Sony about putting on the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll happen because Sony's like, we have our own PS Plus.
Yes.
Nintendo does their own freaking thing, so that'd be a shock, honestly. So, on one hand, it's cool. I don't know how large of a market could honestly be. It seems like it's going to be a Google type of action where it's like, let's go do it. Actually, it'll be like the what was the Amazon gaming thing? The Luna.
Yeah.
It'll be like the Luna, where they do this, big huzzah! Look at this, it's shiny and neat, and then like 10 people sign up for it.
Luna's still a thing, isn't it? They just don't have an internal studio anymore, I think.
Maybe.
Anyways,
I get why they're doing this. I just don't see a large market for it.
Well, I think it's to be honest with you, I think this potentially has a little bit more legs because now you got two juggernauts in the mix. It's not Google by itself, Amazon by itself. Yes, of course you've got the publishers of the games and stuff, but you're talking about Microsoft and Amazon coming together. So at least a year to see if this works, maybe. I mean, they're not Google, so
they got more than 6 months, maybe.
You know, Google's literally like at the end of every single month, they probably just roll a D20 going, ooh, it's a 16. Let me do my astrological charting here. Oh, the sun is in the blah blah blah. Yeah, let's cut it. I know that's successful, but let's cut it. It's the next Google wave.
I mean, look at I have an Apple TV, and Apple's been trying to get. I know there is gaming on the Apple TV.
But wait, you have Apple TV?
Yeah.
And you've never watched Ted Lasso?
No, I have an Apple TV, but I don't have the Apple TV subscription.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right. But on the Apple TV, in general, Apple's been trying to push gaming on that device for years.
Yeah.
But like, who buys an Apple TV or a Fire Stick, for that matter, for the purpose of gaming?
Right.
Not many people.
Right.
So it's pretty clear, like on the Apple side, where I mean, the Apple TV is definitely more powerful than a Fire Stick, and they've tried to push that as a gaming device to some minor extent,
right?
Because they have the whole arcade subscription thing you can do, and that really hasn't taken off either. I think a large part of it, honestly, is, at least in my opinion, you basically have two sectors of gamers. You have, for the sake of argument, I'll call them hardcore gamers, and they're going to be on PC or console or something. Like, they're going to have a actual device that they're going to sit down, at a chair or at a recliner or whatever, but they're going to like sit down and play like a 60-hour game, right?
Yep.
Or you have phone gamers. Now, granted, a lot of like hardcore gamers also play phone games on the side.
Yep.
But there's a large audience that play phone games that don't play like console or PC games.
Yes.
I feel like that's, in a way, what Microsoft wants, but they're not going to get.
So,
because it is a large audience.
Yeah.
Think of the success of games like Candy Crush, Clash of Clans. All these games have been super, Flappy Birds, we talked about earlier, like extremely successful on the mobile device.
Yeah.
It feels like that's the audience they're looking for, but it's like two different audiences. And I don't think you're going to capture the game, like the phone audience, by throwing something on a Fire Stick.
True. And funny thing, the next topic we're going to talk about is
also,
that.
Sorry, what do they, like 90% of people probably also don't know. More than 90% don't know you could throw a controller onto a Fire Stick or an Apple TV or any other device for that matter.
It's true.
Like, most people don't even know that. It's like, what? My PS5 controller is also Bluetooth. Actually, my Switch controller I could do that with if I felt like.
Well, here's another thing is the fact is that this is starting in July. We are literally 3 days from July. And this is the first I've actually heard that you're going to be able to play Xbox games on the Fire TV stick. So this tells me that I'm assuming, Microsoft and Amazon have been working on this deal for a while, but it's not been publicized at all. So here's another fun thing. Zealeus and I were huge supporters of a small little gaming system called the Ouya, and the death of the Ouya was simply because they didn't know how to market the device. And this is just another, the Luna, like Amazon Luna, was not really marketed all that well. If you had to be on Amazon, and you would probably see a small banner, and if you're like the vast majority of the world, you probably have ad blockers built into your browser, so that banner was probably gone. So you didn't see it. So,
and yes, Luna Cloud Gaming still exists.
Aha! See, told you.
Hey, look, they also have a summer sale too. What do you know?
Oh Christ. Anyways, but no, I mean it's cool, because Microsoft and Amazon both signing on to this. But yet again, are they actually talking this up, or is it like, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, is there going to be a little like indicator that pops up when you are scrolling through your list of apps that you could play? I just don't know how are they going to market? How are they marketing this? There's no big ass trailer or something that's posted across the interwebs.
Yeah, you're talking about the Ouya. Reminds me, I'm still sad because I had one of my favorite video games ever. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically the Snake game. It was like the RPG version of it.
Yes. Once you started talking, I knew exactly what. I don't remember the name of the game.
It's like Little Something.
Yeah, I played the shit out of that.
Oh, it was a great game.
Yeah, that was one of the favorites to play. When we brought the Ouyas to conventions, that was like one of the crowd favorites, was to play that game.
And I always hated it because I had it on my iPhone, but they never upgraded from the 32-bit to the 64-bit for the iPhone.
Yep.
You bastards. Such a good game.
But yeah. So we're speaking of mobile devices, and we're talking about big name studios. So let's actually talk about the fact that, I don't know why this is a surprise, but a lot of the big name studios it's now dawning on them that when they're porting their AAA titles to the mobile, they're not selling well. And to that, I go, no shit, Sherlock. One, this is always gonna be my gripe. I have big hands, okay, and to have touchscreen controls where my hands are literally going to cover up the whole frickin' screen. I can't have if the game requires precision, that's not going to work for me. And still companies are like, well, I understand the need to put games on every single known demand platform. However, I would think that you would put it on a platform that you understand is kind of parallel to the one that you originally released it on. Like if you've put it on Xbox, then potentially, yes, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and to some extent the Switch, but not the mobile phone. That's like in a totally different playground.
I think there's a big issue though. Is yes, it's totally legitimate. But I remember I was on Reddit one time, and it was talking about basically a lack of sales of high profit games or apps in general, and a developer commented basically stating that it's not worth it to almost develop paid games or paid software in general on mobile devices.
Yeah.
Because we've been trained, and I'm just as guilty as everyone else, is on the phone it's got to be free. There's just something about the phone apps where when you see a price tag, it's like, nope, skip. It's been so ingrained in so many people's brains, and that is, in a way, the proliferation of the free-to-play microtransaction games, especially those gacha games, is because people won't download any kind of paid application, even if it's potentially worth it. But if it's paid, they're not going to do it on the mobile devices. But then they'll pay thousands of dollars for crazy drops.
Yep.
It is a very interesting like psychology behind it, where there's just that barrier of entry on the phones of just paying for paid apps. And you're right, like I'm not going to pay. Like if it's a made for a mobile game, and there's been a couple over the years, that's different to
Right.
pay for.
But we're
But if
talking
it's like
ports.
a AAA, yeah. But if it's like a AAA game
Yep.
that's been ported over to the phone, I'm like, oh, what? This is dumb. Like, hell, I'd rather get a $60 Fire Stick at Best Buy and hook that up than playing on my phone.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because you're right. The gaming's that's why I've never played games like Genshin Impact or Honkai Stale
Rail something? No.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like I'll play some like random gotcha games because to your point, they don't require any precision clicking. But when it comes to any of those games, like I just don't have a desire to play them on my iPhone because it's like, yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. On my iPhone, which I've got a shit ton of games on there, the games that I play the most is basically a word game and then Legends of Runeterra. That's it.
Nice. I actually had played games on my phone in a while because I installed a idle game on my PC, and that takes all of my
your desires of what it would be on a mobile phone.
Yeah, basically that like that itch to just like click in and click things a couple times.
Yep.
And like, okay, I'm good. So I kind of have that itch taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Or you could install Diablo Immortal because everyone's got a cell phone.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. But yeah, no, for me personally, I think, I mean, it has been a very long time since I've actually bought a game. I too basically stick straight to the free to play games, and if I'm getting enough out of it, then yes, I will throw money at it. Well, Legends of Runeterra, I was throwing money at it when while I was playing on my PC.
Yeah.
And yes, I've thrown a little bit of money at it when I've been playing on my mobile phone.
Now, is it cross-play? So whatever you did on your PC carries over to your mobile device?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. It's all one. It's your Riot game account. So all the progress is cross-platform.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Now I would think that it's probably cross-platform play, but then I've only been playing I just love Path of Champions. I haven't played like an actual like PvP match in years because I'm having too much fun with Path of Champions, and then getting really frustrated when I don't get the right cards in my hand and I get my ass whooped. Or with Path of Champions, there's these like weekly challenges that throw like weird rule sets at you, and then that rule set basically breaks the game. Well, it doesn't break the game. In most collectible or tradable card games, ladies and gentlemen, when you run out of cards, the game is over. And there was one rule set that literally I had my opponent down to 2 health, but I ran out of cards because because it basically killed everything and then would bring it back to life.
It was a cycle deck, yeah.
Yeah. So I just got stuck.
Nice.
Anyways, but yeah.
That is an interesting rule that it's almost like an OG Magic the Gathering rule.
Well, so in Legends of Runeterra, they added this new state to certain cards called Deathless. And what it does is the first time your character dies, it comes back in a stunned state. And then on the next turn you can use it to block or attack or whatever. But the problem is that in this scenario, every single time you would bring the card back, it would not only trigger that deathless state, but also create a new card. So both sides had the same effing cards that just kept dying and then respawning over and over and over again. So it was a stalemate every single turn. And you could try to put new cards out, but they were going to be wiped off after the round because everything dies.
I think this is if I play CCG again, I could only do it online. Because I'm assuming when you're playing Legend of Terra, you can also like hover over these keywords to be like, what the hell does this even mean?
Yes.
Whereas like when we played Magic 20 years ago, it was like you had trample, you had like regenerate, you had like very simple keywords. There was like a couple you had to know, and they all made sense. You read it's like, oh yeah, that's what that does. Where it's now you play these CCGs, and there's so many random rules and variations. I wouldn't be able to keep track of what all these cards doing.
No. Yes, there is a hover feature. If you're playing on your PC, just hover the mouse over it. Or I think if you also click on the keyword, it'll pop it up. And on the mobile device, if you just basically hold your finger down on that keyword, it'll pop up an explanation next to it.
Now, when you're playing on your phone, does there come a point when there's so many cards like on the board where it's hard to tell like what's going on?
No, because your cards get thrown to the right-hand side, but you could tap on your hand and then they'll pop up to like your main view.
Nice.
And you can always select a card and like read more information. So yeah.
Cool.
It's not like my gripes with the Pokemon, the card game for the PC, where literally the font size is so atrocious and they've shoved so much crap on there that you can't read the damn thing, and there is no highlight feature, so you just have to guess at it. Anyways,
it won't be that hard to figure out, but
no.
Whatever.
So I do have one more story. I know we're running out of town, running out of time, not town. And it has to do with a controversial streamer. This gentleman has had his ups and downs and his bans on several different platforms. That, of course, is Dr. Disrespect.
Yep.
He has done a big no-no, and he is getting his ties and endorsements to companies are getting cut left and right. And it's all stemming from the fact that he decided that it's okay to do private messaging with a miner. And I'm not talking about the people who dig ore out of the ground and have black lung. I'm talking about a miner, as in an individual who is under a certain age.
So a couple of years ago, this has actually been pre-COVID, I think.
Yep.
Is when we first had these allegations.
Yeah.
Well, not allegations. Let me rephrase that. It's when he was cut from certain promotional companies years ago.
Yep.
And I remember, essentially, so I went on a date with a girl, and she worked for one of these companies. And I remember her saying, like, nothing can be said publicly, but the rumor we all heard is it's sexual misconduct allegations. Yep. And it's interesting. Even back then, that never came out. Like, I remember always watching to be like, was that? It was always like, nobody knows what's going on. But that's what I was told a number of years ago by somebody who worked for one of these companies. Was that was the rumor going on behind the scenes, was like sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
And the person didn't say this, but reading between the lines, if it's sexual misconduct, it's probably some kind of illegal form.
Yes.
So it seems like people behind the scenes have known what's going on for a long, long time now.
I think he's been a repeat offender.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of YouTube people, and he's definitely I definitely only watch like YouTubers if they happen to be in my same ecosystem of games I've been playing.
Yep.
So there's like a few where they'll pop on my feed. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been playing this game. Typically it's been Diablo 4 because it's so publicized.
Yeah.
So I'll watch some streamers based off of like usually a Diablo 4 stream to be like, oh, what's going on in the game? And is season 5 worth playing? Apparently the answer is no.
And my dirty secret about YouTube is if I'm really freaking stuck in a game, I will pull up the video and try to fast forward to exactly where I'm stuck to see where I'm not clicking or where exactly I'm supposed to go, because apparently I'm too stupid to figure it out.
Wait, you don't go on GameFAQs and look up the 842-page dissertation of a video game and try to filter your way through it to figure out exactly where you are?
Actually, to be honest with you, I'm still that crotchety old man. I actually, depending on the game, I might actually prefer the text-based walkthrough over the video, because sometimes people are when you look at a video, there are certain individuals who are strictly business. Just follow me and I'll show you exactly. And then you have this people who will just go on random ass like tangents in the middle of their stream. If I'm watching your video about a game on how to get through this game, I want to see how to get through this game, not. So my Aunt Louisa the other day, let me tell you, she looks kind of like that chick over there in the game, and she's got buck teeth, but she's going to the dentist. I'm like, I don't care. Just fast forward. Now I missed it. Now go back. No. Anyway.
So a lot of things, like playing Final Fantasy 14, when you do a higher level raids, you always, or you should, watch video guides on how to do it.
Yeah.
But what's been an interesting phenomenon is what will happen is day one, there's a couple of streamers, and they're good. Like, this isn't like a knock against them at all.
Yeah.
Is they'll come out with guides on how to do it. Because that's what worked for them in their guild. But like, they're day 1 or 2 guides, so they're typically not optimal. And what will happen is a couple of days later, there'll be like better guides. And actually for Endwalker, there was always a guy, his name was Hector, and he came out with these guides. It'd be like short, like instead of being like a 15-minute, here's the whole thing, like a minute 30, here's literally all you need to know. It's like, okay, the general fight, go watch this one Hector guy video. It'll give you the nuts and bolts of what you need to watch instead of like all the other fluff. Because they'll be like kind of what worked for these people who've been playing together for 15 years. Versus here's the actual like pickup group strategy that anybody can do. And they'd be like different strategies depending on what group you join that day. Always been fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said at the beginning of this show, unfortunately, we are off next week and then the following week. So it'll be 3 weeks until our next Thursday night hangout.
But how are we going to know it's next day's Friday so I don't have to go to work the day afterwards?
Well, like next Thursday will be really fucking loud. If you're anywhere in the United States of America, it's going to be really fucking loud because
this is true.
Fireworks everywhere.
So what you're telling me is if I hear fireworks, I'll be like, oh, it's a Thursday night podcast. I need to go hop on Twitch.
No. If you hear fireworks, what you need to do is if you've missed any of our Thursday night hangouts this year, or perhaps you want to go further into our backlog, you can always re-listen or re-watch those to pass the time, to reminisce about the amazing content that we've talked about. And then, of course, the following week, I will not be here. So, unfortunately, we will not have a show. But
yeah, better places to be. I understand.
It's a family holiday. It's a family vacation. So, yes, smiling. Yes. Anyways.
Smile the whole time.
Yes. So, yes. Okay. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving anything our heads, our mouths, and, of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another. We'll be back in 3 Thursdays for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.